by telling the truth.
Your brand is perfect, Kyle.
I'm telling the truth. I'm telling the truth, not coddling the nuts of MAGA voters. Yeah.
Cenk Uygur joined Kyle Kulinski and Krystal Ball for a calm and cool debate. Pause for laughter. On the topic of how to win in a moment of Trump and the insanity that is the administration. So in this video, I have a few fun clips from this debate to get to. I'm going to play them for you and try to establish here who is correct, as well as the most amazing clip later on. I got to say, no spoilers, but you got to stay for the best clip of the debate, in my opinion. First up, let's do Cenk's argument here. So Krystal, as you see, will read it out, but this was Cenk post-election, pre-inauguration, and this is the argument that he was trying to make at the time.
So you said in November 29th, 2024, I've been trying to figure out why I'm more optimistic now than I was before the election. Even though I was so against the guy who won, I know now MAGA is not my mortal enemy, neither is the extreme left. My mortal enemy is the establishment, and they have been defeated. So over the course of that conversation, you explained to me that the reason you felt optimistic was really two reasons. Number one, as you say there, the establishment was defeated. And number two, you felt that the elements of the populist right and the bros would hold Trump accountable.
So right-wing populists, it is now your job to prove Krystal wrong.
Go out and do it, y'all.
So she doesn't believe you. And by the way, almost no one on the left, other than me and Anna, believe you guys that you actually want to cut the Pentagon. And that you could pressure Elon Musk and Donald Trump to cut the Pentagon. So are you going to prove the left wrong, or are you going to prove them spectacularly right? Am I going to have to come on here and apologize to Krystal for ever believing in any right-wing populist?
So, is the apology coming up? We'll see in the next clip. But first, just a couple of things. That tweet from November after Trump won, Cenk claiming that the establishment was defeated. Yes, the former president Donald Trump defeated the establishment. Who are we fooling here? What is this? And of course, Trump goes on to cut the CFPB, argue for tax cuts for the rich, is now going supporting a war on behalf of AIPAC and defense contractors, put Elon Musk in control of government cuts. Yes, the establishment was defeated. Okay, so how Cenk's argument comes off is that right-wing populists will put pressure on Trump to, in this case, cut the Pentagon budget, which of course did not happen. But the most charitable read is that, okay, Cenk knew that wasn't going to happen, but in an appeal to Trump voters, he wants to put initial faith that it can happen, and then when it doesn't happen, point out the hypocrisy. Because we all know pointing out Trump's hypocrisy is a successful way to defeat him. Pointing out hypocrisy is basically all we've all done. All media that is based in reality. That's all we've done for the past 10 years is point out Trump's hypocrisy. We're talking like back to 2015. So this is not a new strategy. This is the old strategy that is not working. But here is Cenk defending himself here. And does he apologize?
So the tactic of let's work with them and try to cut the Pentagon budget failed. The tactic of let's resist this project outright and make the case and make Elon himself politically toxic succeeded.
So, Krystal, we do live in two different worlds. It's fascinating to see. It's amazing to see. So, number one, the project of saying cut the Pentagon worked. Why did it work? Because they cut the Pentagon, they magically became progressives overnight? No. It worked because it showed and highlighted their hypocrisy.
Just to show you that I was not straw manning Cenk's own argument, he thinks that highlighting Trump's hypocrisy is a successful strategy to win back Trump voters. I don't know what to say. It's like he's living in a time vacuum. This is straight from 2015. These are Chuck Schumer level arguments here. It's amazing. So the Pentagon budget, of course, was not cut. Okay, sure, but Cenk is right because Trump voters have turned on Trump over the Pentagon budget. I must have missed that because that's not what I've seen. But here we go. Cenk knows the MAGA base best. Krystal doesn't know MAGA at all. let's watch this clip.
You're not seeing it.
So
because
you
you're
won because the Pentagon budget went up, even though you thought that the Pentagon budget would get cut.
Can I finish? Okay. So the reason you're not seeing it is because you're not engaging with MAGA, and that's okay. And you don't want to engage with MAGA. I got it.
Do you know who I am? Do you know the show I host?
I don't know if you know who you are.
Who are you talking to right now? I host a show with Sagar and Jetty and Emily Jasinski every day.
So Krystal,
no one in this room talks more to MAGA than I do, okay?
Yeah, okay. So are you saying that none of the MAGA voters were thrilled that they added to the Pentagon? Is that what you're saying?
They don't give a shit because Trump did it.
Krystal literally hosts a show with Trump voters, and Cenk is trying to claim that these people, you don't talk enough to MAGA. It's so stupid. I think I would trust Krystal's opinion here and how MAGA feels over Cenk's thoughts based what appears to be largely on his interactions on Twitter, which not a lot of real people there anymore. I'm not sure if you noticed. It's a lot of trolls, a lot of bots. It's not a place for a realistic worldview. But this gets to, so I'll get to the next clip in a second here, which really gives you a good microcosm of what this entire debate was. But there are three strategies here that I see. So there's the Cenk strategy of reaching out to Trump voters by being kind to them and hoping that they're going to vote your way in the next election. There's Krystal and Kyle, who are focusing on the here and now, what can be done with real movements, focusing on the left and liberals and independents, bringing them together. And then there's the Hassan Piker strategy of being in more apolitical spaces, working out, gaming, discussing culture, internet beefs. Like there's a whole other level that I think Hassan does well and fits into what Cenk should be doing. Like if Cenk's focus is getting new people, like different people on board, the real focus should be on people who are apolitical, people that don't want to hear about politics every single day, which I would say is probably at least half of people. They don't want to be that engaged, but they're in other spaces. They're into sports, they're into video games, they're into other things. And that is, in a weird way, what TYT used to do. They had channels that focused on movies and television and culture and other topics, which is what helped to funnel people in, I believe, what helped to funnel people into the main show where they discussed largely politics. But they don't do that anymore. This is why Cenk's arguments are so frustrating. What he's doing is so frustrating because they have or had a massive platform. They still have lots of subscribers on Facebook, YouTube, where they could be using that platform to really try and help to funnel people into this mass movement against Donald Trump. But instead, a lot of it are arguments designed around trying to appeal to Trump voters that simply aren't even watching TYT. Let me get to the next clip here. This is just a hilarious moment where Cenk claims he's being strawmanned, immediately following his own strawmanning of Krystal and Kyle.
You guys just spoke for like 8 minutes doing a straw man. Okay. So you make it sound, and this is what's so harmful. You guys make it sound like I'm pro-Trump and I think that MAGA is just a bunch of angels who are secretly left-wing and they're going to magically agree with us on every issue. And the minute that Trump does something wrong, they're going to all push back 100%. And that's what I believed. I believed in rainbows and unicorns.
That was so much of the debate. Claiming that Krystal and Kyle are doing a straw man and then doing his own straw man about what they're saying about his argument, which is not what they're saying. They didn't call Cenk pro-Trump. They don't think that he thinks that every MAGA person is secretly left-wing. Like, what are these arguments? That's not what's going on. But let me get to now the best moment of this debate, in my opinion. And this is when Kyle absolutely nails it.
Well, if the leader of the movement is a fascist, then the movement is a fascist movement.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, Cenk, we have mass kidnappings and abductions and human traffickings with no due process from ICE Gestapo thugs. They've raided schools, meatpacking facilities, farms, Home Depots, 7-Elevens, deported a 4-year-old with American citizen with cancer, arrested a woman who just gave birth.
I agree.
That's a fact. If anybody who supports that, Cenk, is a fascist. They're a fascist. Say no due process, throw out the Constitution. That's fascism.
Okay, so Kyle, we agree that all those things are authoritarian in nature, and you can call them fascist, and that's why we all worked so hard to make sure that Trump didn't win because we saw all of those authoritarian tendencies. But the way you just framed it attacks the voters because you said MAGA, not Trump.
Why do I have to coddle their fucking feelings, Cenk? Why can't I just tell the truth?
Because I like to win. And
but that's the problem. You keep reaching to the right, and then you miss the whole ocean to your left, and that's the problem.
I don't miss it. I'm the guy leading the anti-war coalition. What part am I missing? Like, am I pro-war? No, I fucking hate this war, and I'm trying desperately to get us out of it. And by the way, this whole like, hey, I'm trying not to do it, guys. All right, I'll do the wrong strategy that makes me feel better by yelling at their voters and drive them away. Oh, meanwhile, Palestinians are getting killed every single day. Meanwhile, Israel's starting new wars.
But let's talk about that, Cenk.
Because I yelled at MAGA.
Let's talk about that.
This is your old strategy. Cenk,
hey,
what I'm doing is your old strategy.
I'm so pure.
No, stop. No. What I'm doing is your old strategy, Cenk. I'm doing TYT's old strategy.
Super hard not to say it's a dumb strategy.
Why are you okay with the right playing by different rules, Cenk? Why are you? Because the right, I saw this last election. A speaker at one of Trump's rallies at MSG came out and said the whole party of Democrats are degenerates, Jew haters, and lowlives. Trump calls Democrats the enemy from within and says we should use the military against them, and then he does use the military against them. He called us fascists and communists, and he's sitting in the fucking White House now. He was belligerent as belligerent can be, and he got to the White House. Why can't we be belligerent and have a little bit of swagger back and build a movement? If people want to come over from the right, that's great. They can come over from the right. But I'm trying to get liberals and leftists and independents and build a massive coalition of 60% of the country that way. Fuck them if they're signing on to all the fascist shit that's happening right now. Fuck them.
Okay. Oh my God, Kyle, you're so pure.
No, I'm a truth teller. I'm a truth teller. You'll play hide the ball. If they're actually fascists, you'll pretend like they're not fucking fascists. They are fascists.
Yeah. So, Kyle, you've done such a good job at yelling at me.
By telling the truth. By telling the truth. By telling the truth.
Your brand is perfect, Kyle.
I'm telling the truth. I'm telling the truth, not coddling the nuts of MAGA voters.
Yeah, bullshit.
Totally accurate.
Bullshit.
Totally accurate.
Okay,
no, it's the truth. What part was wrong?
Kyle absolutely nails it here, and Cenk has no argument against what he is saying. I'm not even sure why Cenk is arguing against what Kyle is saying. That's clearly what Cenk is saying. He wants to be nice to Trump voters as a way to try and appeal to them. How is that not what that's what he himself has said he is doing. So sure, Kyle puts it a different way, coddling the balls, but it's the same. It's the exact same thing. This is Kyle's point there is exact. Trump won the election by being belligerent. The entire campaign was insane. Criticizing anyone slightly to the left of them as just completely, communist nuts. The entire campaign was like that, and Trump won with that campaign. A lot of this so-called anti-establishment aura that some people think Trump has, it's not because of policy. It's because he's belligerent. It's because he's offensive. It's because he's outspoken. That's why some people view him as a different kind of politics, even though the actual underlying results are even worse than anyone before him. But it's the fact that Trump carries himself differently, which is what Kyle is trying to bring into the Democratic Party, into the left, by he himself being offensive, belligerent. If you see the kind of stuff that the kind of memes that Kyle posts online, some people aren't happy about some of the stuff he posts, but he doesn't care because Kyle understands this ultimately is not going to hurt. It, if anything, helps the left to be a little more insane, a little more wild. Take the chains off. This is how you try and win some of those people back. Because again, a lot of these people aren't focused on the issues. And if they are, they're already moved over. As he said there, if you're supporting what ICE is doing, then you're not winnable. If you know what ICE is doing and you are supporting that, you can't be won back over. But if you're just an apolitical person who likes Trump because of the vibes, because he appears anti-establishment to you because he's offensive, then Kyle can appeal to you by being belligerent himself while also understanding the underlying issues and the politics of it all. While Cenk is trying to coddle the balls of Trump voters, and that clearly has not worked and isn't going to work because that's all people have been doing the past 10 years. All right, I got a couple more clips, but they're not part of the debate, so I'm not even going to bother sharing them. I think you should go watch the full thing. It's just one of the clips was Krystal discussing how she at one point did what Cenk was doing, trying to appeal to the right on that show, The Hill Rising, and it was now Breaking Points. But she said how that didn't work, so she did the Cenk strategy. It didn't work, and Kyle brings up later on as well how this is what they have done in the past. They tried to appeal to the Trump voter by being a little more open to maybe why they were confused. And that did not work, which is why they're now being, in my opinion, Kyle's doing some of the best content online in the political space. So, I would say go watch his channel, but you're already watching it. The views he gets are insane because people understand Kyle cares about the issues. He understands the issues. And he also, at the same time, doesn't care how he may come off to some people because he watched Trump win the election by being completely insane. There's no risk of losing people by just being yourself.